Hello everyone. Welcome to the purple classes of the Rus Indica IS Academy. Desh Badla, Padhai Badlo. I welcome each and every one of you in this session. Thank you so much for joining the session. And as you all know that we are running the agriculture series of GS paper 3 and we are already discussing a lot of various topics, especially focusing on the GS mains paper 3 of the UPSC examination. So today we have come up with some more important concepts, and the concept that we are going to discuss today is issue related to direct and indirect farm subsidies and MSP, which we also called it as minimum support price. So let's start with our session right away. So this is related to your direct and indirect farm subsidies, and as you all know that this is what here we are going to do today. Here this is a syllabus issues related to direct and indirect farm subsidies and minimum support price. Okay, so this is what we are going to do today. So as you all know that the way we are doing our syllabus, we are covering topic one by one so that you have updated static knowledge related to that topic, and later on you can build upon the current affairs, because first of all you should know the proper static portion regarding this whole paper 3 syllabus of the economy of the UPSC mains examination. So that is why we are taking the subtopics under each major topics, right? So let's start with our session right away. Okay, so agriculture subsidy. First of all, why? I think first of all, you should know why the agriculture is very, very important for our country. Obviously, whenever we say agriculture, because it is the food related things. Okay, and without food, you cannot progress anywhere, and the food is the basic necessity of the human life. And until and unless your basic necessities are satisfied, you cannot do anything other than that. Okay, so we are aiming to get self-sufficiency in food generation. We are focusing on self-sufficiency in food generation. Along with that, we are also focusing on the employment generation. That is the second part. Then third is the technological advancement that we wanted to focus on. After that, we have technological advancement, which we have already discussed, then price stability and income improvement for the farm household. So these are the major and big points. These are the major and big points exactly by improving the agriculture, what exactly we wanted to achieve. Okay, so in achieving all these things, India government has to provide lot of support. Government has to provide lot of support to the farmer community, right? Support can be in the form of direct transfer of the cash, indirect support, export support, and whatever the type of support. So whenever we say that government is supporting the agriculture in various ways, then we equate it as like we are providing them with subsidies. You can also call this as government is providing some kind of support to the sector, support in the form of providing credits, support in the form of by providing fertilizer, support in providing number of seeds, support in providing the irrigation water, and various other things, etc., etc. Like, so whenever this support is provided, support may be in terms of technology, support may be in terms of machinery, support in terms of your capital, in terms of direct cash transfer. So all these support has been given a single word that we call it as subsidy, right? So subsidy is derived from the Latin word. The Latin word is subsidium. That is subsidium. That means coming to assistance. Coming to assistance from behind, from the back, somebody is assisting you. Okay, so subsidies is also been called as opposite of tax. That means here government is not taking something from you, here government is providing something to you. Okay, that is why it is called converse of a tax. Government is providing you something over here, and government is not taking away something from you, right? So this is called subsidy, and proper definition of this is called, this is subsidy, right? So now if we see in the larger sense, whenever we say that something we wanted to do, why we are doing that. So if we see something in a larger sense, we come to know that agriculture subsidy is like government financial support. Government is supporting the farmer or agriculture businesses or whatever the way they wanted to do, by direct supporting, by indirect supporting. Okay, so we call it as either you are supporting directly or you are supporting indirectly, right? So that farmer, you can supplement the farmer incomes, you can provide additional subsidy to the farmer, you can also increase, like you can buy their product at a higher rates. Okay, so cost and supply of the commodity is being controlled, sometimes controlled by the government financial support, because government, like subsidy, whenever we say that, it is like government is financially supporting some kind of task, right? Subsidies are like an act of incentive, they are like an act of incentive. The purpose of this is that so that people should develop the agriculture, people should develop the agriculture, because if government is providing subsidy, that means government wanted you to invest that money in improving the land, in improving the agriculture production, so that we can all achieve the self sufficiency in this whole task, right? So this is the goal. Self sufficiency is the major goal of our subsidy program, right? And one more part is that it is expected that subsidies contribute to the better cropping pattern. That means if government is providing subsidies and government is providing a lot of support to certain sectors, that means government wanted that farmers should utilize certain cropping pattern, like you should utilize wheat, rice, or various type of pulses, so that you should not grow same type of crop. So the purpose of providing subsidies to the farmer is to make sure that they follow certain kind of cropping pattern which is good for their country. Okay, like if we are providing like subsidies only to the wheat and rice, so for certain time your production will be very very high and you will achieve some good numbers in this, but after that this concept will start failing, because you are ignoring certain type of crops, right? So government can utilize the tool of subsidy in order to incentivize the farmers to grow other type of crop also. That means if a government say that we are not growing pulses, we are not growing pulses. So what government will do? Government will provide lot of subsidies in the pulses sector, so that if any farmer is growing pulses, then government will provide lot of support. And if anybody is growing wheat and rice, so support will be there, but it will be less. So government is started incentivizing certain other sectors. So subsidies will be acting like a tool for making sure that what type of cropping pattern farmer has to take. Okay, so but it has to be like that, but actually in like in our coming slides you will see that actually it is not happening like that. Okay, now what are the significance? So this is the major general 4 points are there for which exactly the subsidies are being given, right? Now we are moving to like exactly going on like what exactly we are getting the significance of the subsidy. So we know that there is an Oxfam report of 2020. Okay, 10% holds 72% of the wealth. That is the fact. In our country, the 10% people, top people, hold 72% of this country wealth. So this subsidy act as a tool of distributing the income. That means to bridge the gap, to bridge the gap between rich and poor, between rich and poor, right? You know, Article 48 of our Constitution is specifically mentioned that we have to modernize agriculture as and when the new technologies are coming, because that is going to be the need of our, because if we are not going ahead with the technological revolution, we will be far behind than our world counterparts, right? So Farm subsidy provide farmer will additional income. Obviously, whenever you are providing subsidies to the farmer, a farmer are getting additional income, which farmer is investing itself in the agriculture. That is the notion that we have taken. Okay, so farmer income is less than one third of that is non-farmer. Okay, because uh, in our country, the farmer what is farmer is earning is one third of that is one third of the non-farmer, right? So if a non-farmer is earning 3,000 rupees, if we go by an example, like if a non-farmer is earning 3,000 rupees, then one third farmer will be earning only 1,000 rupees. That is just for example I have given. Do not take this number very seriously, just to give you an example. Okay, so subsidies provide you with certain kind of income which farmer will be having, so that he will receive the from the government. So I will say you the government has started PM Kisan Yojana, right? In which government is providing farmer with rupees 6,000 yearly, right? 6,000 yearly. That means 2,000 rupees per quarter the government is providing, right? So this is what is another thing which subsidies provide to the farmer. Okay, so subsidies for farm, access to high quality input. So whenever government provides subsidy in various ways. Some of the ways are like government will provide some kind of high quality seed. Okay, just a high yielding variety seeds are there. Government will provide with subsidies on fertilizer. If you go to fertilizer shop, the farmer has to pay very less amount for the fertilizer, and rest the money has to bear by the government, right? So that is yet another thing in which government provides support to the farmer in by providing high quality seed, high quality fertilizer, so that their productivity increase, their input cost reduces. Okay, because their input cost reduces, and since input cost is reduced, so their income will increase. Okay, then subsidies also encourage the people to move on to the business of farming, or so that, because most of the people who are living in the farm villages and areas, they are somehow losing their field and they are moving towards the other field area in the service sector or a manufacturing sector. But we wanted them to take some kind of innovative activities in the farming. So subsidies government provide to encourage people to take farming as their profession. Okay, then subsidies also provide help to the farmers in the form of like various pandemic situation, maybe bank failure, COVID-19 situation. Okay, so here government support is being provided through the help of subsidies, right? So if we go by the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, 70% of the rural India household rely primarily on agriculture for their livelihood. That means it is a huge number. 70% of the primary agriculture, they are dependent on primary agriculture for their livelihood. So that is why this sector needs improvement at a very high pace, and that too proper technological revolution. It has to be embedded with a lot of research and innovation, and lot of things has to be put on in this agriculture sector in order to provide a stable income to the farmer, and also to motivate the farmer to remain in the farming business. So this is what the significance of a farm subsidy, right? So now there are various type of subsidies are there in our country. So first of all, we'll talking about the explicit input subsidies are there. First of all, explicit input subsidy. So in the explicit input subsidy, whenever we say explicit, that means that has been given from outside. Like these are the explicit payment made to meet a part of a cost input, right? They are being given directly to the farmer, directly, as in like you are providing them with high yielding variety seed. So here the farmer don't have to buy the seed, government is providing seed at subsidized rate. Okay, like the seed is costing rupees 100 per packet, so government is saying that you will get it rupees 50 per packet. Okay, so this is like high yielding variety. Plant protection chemicals are there. Okay, if you are like buying the plant chemicals for the plant protection, you will get at a very subsidized rate. Many kits government is providing in the seed, fertilizer, plant protection chemical. All these comes under the explicit subsidy which is visible. Okay, Normally, these type of things are being especially available for a small and marginal farmer because they are not having such the resources in order to buy the high costing chemicals, high costing fertilizer, high costing seeds, right? So these type of subsidies, that we call it as explicit input subsidies, are being provided to especially the small and marginal farmers, those who are belonging to scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBC, or very like those who are have a very low income sources are there. Okay, so the main purpose is that so in order to motivate the farmer to adopt a very high yielding increasing input, because they will be having small fields, they will be having small fields, and we wanted to make sure that their productivity increases. Okay, like if they are having a 2 acre of land, and if they were producing 20 kg of rice from that, we are expecting that at least they are generating 35 to 40 kg from there. Okay, so the main purpose is to adopt yield increasing input. Yield increasing input, what are they? They are fertilizer, they are high yielding variety seeds, they are chemicals which protects the crop, right? So, and also to utilize the new technologies similarly, right? Then we have implicit input subsidy. As the name suggests, implicit, that means they are hidden in nature. Okay, so in the explicit you have a transparency, that means you are seeing, okay, you are seeing that something is being given to them, right? But in implicit they are hidden in nature. Okay, so they emerge from a mechanics of pricing of input themselves. So what is the meaning of providing the input in the pricing of the inputs? So how these implicit input subsidy work, right? So if there is a price of certain good, okay, if some price is there, so it market price is very high. Okay, market price is very high, but government is providing at a very low economical value. That is mean implicit subsidization. Like you are doing research and extension service, okay, you are utilizing light satellite data, you are utilizing satellite data for your crop analysis, aggregates, estimation, and various type of weather related services. Then transport subsidies government is providing, like government say that okay, if you are transporting your crop by a train, so you don't have to pay anything. Okay, that means their whole transportation cost got saved, right? Water subsidy, power subsidy, then subsidized credits are there. So these are called implicit, these are hidden in nature, these are hidden in nature, right? Then we have output subsidies. Output subsidies means in the trade policy, like if we are doing trade with other countries, okay, if we are doing trade with other countries, so we are subsidizing our export. Government is providing a lot of support to the export sector so that our products becomes cheaper in the international market than the other country's product. Okay, so this is like calling as case of exportable and cost, and freed prices in case of importable subsidies, right? So what does that mean? Whenever we say output subsidies, we are actually looking at the trade policies. Okay, so a product price in the domestic market are maintained at a level higher than those would have been prevailed in the absence of restrictive order of trade. That means if we are doing full open market, if we are doing full open market, so the rates will be determined by the market. Okay, so there will be determination by the market. But in India, what we do is that we keep our prices a little bit on higher side, so that the price do not fall drastically. The price do not fall drastically, because if the price fall drastically, it hurt the farmer's income. Okay, so it becomes a case of subsidization of agriculture sector through output pricing. Conversely, trade policies are such that result in lowering of the domestic prices and the corresponding border reference prices. It can be said that the policies have taxed the agriculture sector, right? So border reference price is the free on broad price in the case of exportable of the cost. And whenever we say that we are keeping our price at certain level, so we are using all the way tools, taxing, import restriction, and various other type of tools we are utilizing in order to maintain our prices in a optimum way. So this is called output subsidies. Now, what is the meaning of food subsidy? Whenever we say food subsidy, what is the meaning of food subsidy? The main role of food subsidy is two aim of this twin policy aim to provide market support. Market means if the farmer is coming and farmer is growing some product, farmer is growing certain product, then he should be guaranteed. He should have a guarantee of his price. It should not be like that during the time of sowing something is going 100,000 rupees per kg, and by the time next harvest season came, the prices fall to 250 rupees kg. So what will happen? There will be loss of 750 rupees to the farmer, right? So the purpose of providing food subsidy is that we wanted to provide support to the market support. At least a part of the requirement to the consumer at reasonable prices. We wanted to provide proper market support so that the consumer and both farmer should get saved by the market. Consumer should get the better prices, and the farmer should get the better prices. Consumer should not get too high prices, and the farmer should not get too low prices, because farmer also has to maintain a certain level of income, because farmer has to earn the money, because he or she doesn't know like what will be going to be the agriculture prices after a few months or something like that. So here we are protecting the farmer, also the consumers. Okay, and the second is to maintain a buffer stock. That means, we don't know when the crisis stuck. We don't know when the crisis struck our country. So this year, last 2 years back, in 2020, what happens? In 2020, what happens? COVID-19. COVID-19 crisis came into being, and all of a sudden, for 2 years, the whole business got collapsed. But we are following the policy of maintaining buffer stock. Government is providing free of cost grain to the poorest section of the society, because it is going to provide the quantity for the national food security. And since 1960s and 70s, we have started green revolution, and with the green revolution we have a focus on keeping the Food Security Act in place, and also keeping buffer stock for the use during the crisis timing. Okay, so that is why the food subsidy bill explicitly appears in the union budget. Whenever we prepare the union budget, this word food subsidy explicitly come in the union budget. Now, there are various type of subsidies. Direct subsidies and indirect subsidies are there. So we will be just seeing here in the direct subsidy, what we call it as, they are direct income support to the farmer. Direct income, cash transfer they are getting to the farmer is an example, right? Then we have an indirect support. There is no direct cash benefit transfer, but they mainly provide support to the farmer. Support like input subsidy, like they will be getting fertilizer subsidy, credit subsidy, irrigation subsidy, we get power subsidy, power subsidy, right? So this is what called as a indirect subsidy. So whenever we say direct subsidy, here we are directly transferring the money to the farmers. Okay, it's like a formal predetermined route is there, and right now we are transferring the direct subsidy using the DBT model, direct benefit transfer model, using JAM Trinity, Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and mobile model. JAM Trinity, I hope everybody know, Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and mobile. So these all are linked together, and this is the direct cash transfer we are doing. Okay, so they are getting a direct cash transfer for the crop husbandry, for agriculture implements, for minor irrigation, for soil conservation, horticulture, pisciculture, sericulture. Okay, all the during the natural calamity, all these things we are getting a direct subsidy in the form of direct income support. Okay, so the subsidy is normally routed through the various department of agriculture, horticulture, and animal husbandry, right? So what is the advantage of deploying the direct subsidy? Because if you are providing direct cash transfer, when you are saying the direct cash transfer, you are giving the purchasing capacity, you are increasing the purchasing capacity of the farmer, right? Then once you are able to properly recognize the farmer with the help of Jan Dhan, Aadhaar, and mobile, so with this you will be able to properly identify the beneficiary, because you will be knowing that yes, this money is going to the intended beneficiary. Yeah, this person we are giving, and it is not getting leakage, it is not getting reducing the pilferages. We have wanted to reduce corruption, so that is why direct benefit transfer and Jan Dhan Aadhaar mobile trinity model is important for proper identification of the beneficiary. So direct subsidy also increases the efficiencies of the working, because sometimes indirect, we don't know how much fertilizer you are giving to the farmer, we don't know how much water, whether you are providing water, irrigation water or not. But this direct cash transfer, you are having the bank account of the farmer, you are having proper mobile phone, you are having proper Aadhaar number. So here the chances of pilferages drastically reduces, and here the chances of the corruption also drastically reduces, right? So this scheme impart a sense of agencies to the beneficiary, because if the government is providing direct benefit transfer, so the farmer will be also seeing that now farmer will be motivated that government wanted to support us. So based on that, farmer decide what type of crop, how much crop, what profit we are expecting, and all these things. Farmer start analyzing all these things, right? Direct subsidies are more likely to control inflation and decrease price of the fertilizer, because once you are providing the direct subsidies to the farmer, that means you are also providing income support to the farmer, so that if there is any sudden price rises there, the farmer has a money to buy that thing. Okay, so because direct subsidy like cash transfer offer a very good amount of transparencies and efficiencies, because if you're directly transferring, you know to whom you have given the money, how much money you have given, and you have so there will be no leakage of the money. Like if you are transferring 1000 rupees, like if you are saying that pm kisan PM Kisan Yojana is there, where government is transferring rupees 2000 per quarter to the farmer. So this 2000 rupees, if you send it through various channels, maybe it does not reaches to the intended beneficiary. But right now, direct benefit transfer, each and every farmer in their bank account are getting 2000 rupees. Okay, so this process has reduces the pilferages and corruption. Okay, and these direct subsidies also ensure that better nutrition as cereal centric food policy, calorie based intervention, ignore micronutrition requirement of the human body. But sometimes what happens is that direct subsidies also ensure that people are getting proper nutrition as see, because we have a cereal centric food policy. That means we are especially focusing on right now rice and wheat only. Rice, wheat. So these are cereals. We are India, in our India, we are cereal centric food policy, calorie based, like how much calories you are providing, and we are still ignoring the micronutrients, like in the form of pulses which provide protein, vitamins, okay, and various other type of micronutrients we are ignoring. So we have to again watch our policy, and we have to move away from the cereal centric food policy. Now, what are the disadvantages of direct food subsidy? We have already done one disadvantage. It is not a disadvantage, it is a limitation. It is a limitation. You can just provide this point as a kind of a critical evaluation point. Critical evaluation point, as if you can provide this, right? Now, what are the disadvantages of the direct subsidies? Disadvantage of direct subsidy. So the main disadvantage of this is cash may get used in some non-priority activity. Like if you are providing direct cash transfer, okay, direct cash transfer, you are thinking that farmer will be investing in the agriculture, farmer will be investing in the land and various other things. Maybe he might be investing over there, but there are other non-productive sectors like marriages of the girl, alcohol. These are the non-productive sector where this direct subsidy money can also go. Okay, rather for the right purpose, because government has intended this money to be used for improvement of agriculture, but it may get diverted to the other non-priority activities. Okay, sometimes because of that we may not able to reach our desired goal, like if the subsidy is not targeted properly. If the subsidy is not targeted properly, we may not able to get the desired result that we exactly were expecting. Because if we are expecting that our food grain should increase, okay, it may not be enough to support the huge population, right? And sometimes it create problem for the food security instead. So direct subsidy does not mean that it will increase your food grain production, it will help you in increasing your food security properly. It may help you, it may not help you. Okay, so this open to country to volatility of market mechanism, because direct subsidies are interfering with the market prices. All of a sudden the prices goes very high, all of a sudden the prices fall very low. Okay, so there is a concept, or there is a sense of volatility of the market mechanism also for with the help because of the direct subsidy. And we all know that in India we are still focusing on increasing the literacy rate and awareness generation, but still the people are getting aware of the various things, but still the illiteracy prevailed in the remotest area. The awareness is still lack of aware, people are lack of aware still in the remotest area. And because of that, because of this illiteracy and because of this lack of awareness, we may it may hamper our agriculture concept, it may hamper our agriculture of the country if people are not understanding as what exactly is required from their part in order to develop the agriculture in the country. Now we are coming into the indirect subsidies. Indirect subsidies are helpful with the help of like price reduction and welfare. Okay, so there is no direct cash payment. यहाँ पे कोई direct cash payment नहीं होता है. Okay, so they reaches the farmer along with the use of inputs, right? What is the input? Input is high yielding variety, seeds. We have fertilizers, right? They are utilizing water, right? They are using power, right? Correct. So with the help of this input, we provide subsidies to the farmer by reducing their rates. Okay, so the amount of the farmer use that kind of inputs, the more and more subsidies they are going to get. Okay, so generally who uses more inputs naturally enjoy higher subsidy. That means if you are utilizing 100 bags of fertilizer, you are getting more subsidy. Anybody who's utilizing 10 bags of fertilizer, he is getting less subsidy. Okay, so you may get cheaper credit. That means if the other person, if the general person is getting like a loan at 12% per annum, so from institutional credit mechanism you can get it for 7%. Okay, so 5% extra will be given by the government. That means government is bearing your 5% interest. Okay, you may also get farm loan waiver. Okay, farmer used to take loan like 2 lakh 3 lakh rupees loan. Okay, you might have heard all these things, that every time we farmer is having protests to waive off the loans, sometimes people don't even pay their installment, even if they are capable of paying the installment. Just they think that now elections are coming, so government will be waiving off their loan. Okay, even then there are other things like reducing the tariff, electricity. Okay, electricity tariff, reducing the price of irrigation. Okay, So all these are indirect subsidies, which when you are utilizing the inputs, with the inputs you get these subsidies. I hope everybody got this concept, right? Now, what is the advantage of indirect subsidy? Obviously, it is addressing our developmental concern in all the priority sectors, and they are more better too because they are given on inputs, which make sure that you are buying the inputs, which make sure that you are buying the inputs, and then only you are getting the subsidies. But there are few disadvantages are also related to that, like it takes away incentive from other area. Why? Because we know that our India, we have a cereal centric. We are especially focusing on the wheat and rice production, and we are ignoring other type of crops. We are ignoring other type of crops like your pulses is there, oil seed is there, then various type of cotton is there, corpa is there, jute is there, right? So because of overemphasis on certain sector, we are ignoring some most important sector, right? Farmer do not feel the incentive to save resources such as over exploitation. Now what will happen? Now you said that power bill will be free. Power bill will be free. That means if you have a motor and if you have started watering your field, farmer will be less concerned about the bill of the electricity, and he may over irrigate the field. He may overutilize the power which is even not required for that. That means they will be doing indiscriminate use of fertilizer, indiscriminate use of water, like fertilizer. Like people are putting a lot of urea in their field because urea is highly subsidized. They are getting at a very reduced rate, so people are utilizing urea. Even if the field doesn't require urea, they are still pouring it with urea because that is government is providing it with a highly subsidized rate. All right. So because of that, over exploitation of certain inputs happen. Sometimes indirect subsidies do not successfully reach the target beneficiaries because proper identification is not there. Their proper, like where they live, what type of work they do, how much field they are having, and sometimes a lot of corruption and lobbying by the rich farmer, because whenever we have a rich farmer, he or she will be lobbying for all the resources. If there is a highly rich farmer and there is a poor farmer, then there is a very good amount of chances are there that the rich farmer will be doing a lot of lobbying in order to wipe out the small farmer. Okay, and this type of policy is also liable for misuse because government utilize this policy during the time of election in order to gain certain kind of political benefits. Okay, during the time of election right now, the political parties will be claiming that, okay, if I come to the power, I will reduce that, I will reduce power, I will reduce power bill, all these things, right? So these are some of the disadvantages of indirect subsidies. Okay, now we are moving towards the issue related to agriculture subsidy and some of their possible resolutions. Now, what is the first issue that is related to agriculture subsidy? Whenever we provide agriculture subsidy, what is the first issue? Obviously, there is a heavy fiscal burden. Government has to spend a lot of money. Like if we go by 2017-18 data, the government has provided rupees 1,20,500 crore to the subsidies. And like if we go by the regarding the financial year at major subsidy at 3.81 lakh crore, roughly 10% of the revenue expenditure is going on providing subsidies only. And then this is compared to 4.14 lakh crore rupees in financial year 24. So the major subsidies as a percentage of GDP is declining right now because why these subsidies are declining? Because of better targeting. Okay, because subsidies burden is decreasing because government has started better targeting using the Jam Trinity model, Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile. Otherwise, there was a lot of leakage during that time. So right now, government is exactly focusing on that the proper money should reach only to the proper person, not it should be leaked to anybody else. Then second is excessive use of natural resources. Whenever we provide subsidy, the people utilize natural resources like water and soil indiscriminately. Okay, so this subsidy inclined toward excessive uses of the subsidized resource. Like, what is a subsidized resource? You are getting subsidized water, you are getting subsidized power, you are getting subsidized fertilizer, right? So these resources, the excessive use will be done of these resources. If you are providing water subsidy, let the water flow in the field. If you are providing power subsidy, let the motor keep on running. We don't have to pay the bill. It is the government that has to pay the bill. If you are providing a lot of urea subsidy, take it the urea, put it how much urea on the ground, because government is providing subsidy on that. Okay, even the soil get destroyed, don't worry. Right? So separate. So for that possible solution, what is suggested is that we should have separate agriculture feeder network should be there. So we are creating under Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana, where for agriculture separate power network will be provided. Okay, which will supply only for a particular hour a day. It is not like that you are getting continuous 24 hour. Okay, so there will be feeder. In that feeder, it will say that okay, from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. we will be releasing the power for agriculture fields. Okay, so there will be separate feeding line. So in these 3 hours you can utilize, but if the feeder was not separate, then they will be keep on continuing. When the power comes, they start running the water. Okay, so this limits their time, and this improves the efficiency of using the water. Okay, and make them disciplined in their work. Otherwise, it will result in declining groundwater, which we have already seen in Gujarat and Bangalore. Right? PM Kusum Yojana, government is providing for a stand-alone solar pump. A stand-alone solar pump government is providing. So government is also utilizing solar electricity for generation of power in the remotest areas. Then the third one is environmental effect, because it, as per the parliamentary standing committee, there is a 29th report on agriculture which highlight that there was a highly imbalanced use of NPK. NPK means nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. These are the three important nutrients which are required for a soil for optimum growth of the crop. So NPK optimum ratio is desirable ratio is 4:2:1. So like if nitrogen is 4 kg, then phosphorus has to be 2 kg and your potassium has to be used in 1 kg. That is the ratio that has to be put on the field. But right now in average, this ratio is 6.7, 2.4 and 1. Why this is 6.7 instead of 4? Why this is high? It is because urea, which is in which the nitrogen is the main content, major component, which is highly subsidized by the government. So people are putting the field with urea, even if they are not knowing that whether urea is required for that level or not. Correct? And this situation is more alarming in Punjab, that is 31.4:8:1, and Haryana 27.7:6.1:1. That means here the urea usage is 8 times more than the required permissible limit. More than 8 times. 7.5 to 8 times. Okay. So that is why the soil of the Punjab and Haryana is becoming acidic in nature and basic in nature. Okay, so that is why there is a need for proper control over the subsidies. Okay, so we have to create awareness among the farmer, right? and penetration of the soil health card. You know, government is providing soil health card to every farmer, where in which soil, in that card, everything will be written: what is the quality of your soil, how much nitrogen, how much phosphorus, how much potassium, other macronutrition, other micronutrition, everything will be given over there. So based on that soil health card, you are going to buy your nutrition subsidies, right, in the form of your fertilizer. And we also have to promote the organic farming wherever it is possible. Please go for organic farming. And government even say that we have to go for neem coated urea. Why? Long way to check the issue of pilferage, because otherwise, if the urea is if it is not neem coated, it may be diverted for industrial use. So it has to be neem coated so that it can be only utilized in the agriculture field. Otherwise, again, it will be diverted to the other sector at subsidized rate. Then no benefit to the targeted group. So we have a lot of benefit. Fertilizer subsidy has not benefited the targeted group. It has mainly benefited to the rich farmer as per this report. Okay, so Punjab, Haryana, and Western UP, these three states are also being known for the green revolution, right? So there is the notion that the fertilizer subsidy is maximally utilized by the rich farmer of these places. Okay, so that is why there is a solution that has been provided, that we should move towards a nutrition based subsidy and neem coated urea, and focus on direct benefit transfer, so that even the small and medium farmers should be able to get proper amount of subsidy based on the type of ground they are having. Then cereal centric and regional biases. Cereal, because we are still cereal centric, rice and wheat is the main thing that we are growing. And regional biases are there because government is especially focusing on only certain area, and government is neglecting the various type of other nutritious crop like pulses, oil seed, and coarse cereal grain. Coarse cereal grain in Hindi we call it as a mota dana, right? So what we can do is that obviously for this we need crop diversification. Everywhere we have to incentivize the farmer for crop diversification. Otherwise, if we wanted to farmer to move to certain other sector, we have to provide a lot of incentive. Right now, you know, we are negotiating with farmer. So we are saying that okay, we will be providing subsidy to the other crops. Other crops like sugarcane is there, pulses crops are there. You will get good amount of MSP in that. Okay, so government asking them to diversify that. And then horticulture missions are there, cooperative farmings are there, direct benefit transfer. These all are the possible solution if we wanted to move away from the cereal centric and regional biases, away from that. Then we have an indiscriminate use of price subsidies. Okay, if we are targeting something and we are providing price support, okay, price support like money support, cash support, like that, pricing support, okay, government saying that okay, we will be buying at MSP. Okay, so because of that, it creates a lot of inefficiencies in the market. Okay, so we have to have some different other type of price intervention so that it may not distort the market. Okay, and proper targeted connection we can make over here. Okay, so price deficiency payment are substantial improvement on procurement based price support. Okay, so price deficiency payment means that okay, if the government is saying that in the market something is at 2,500 rupees right now going on, right, and farmer is needing at least 3,400 rupees. Okay, so how much? 900 rupees is the price difference is there. So government has to provide this price deficiency payment. Okay, government should not support the farmer by full minimum support price. Okay, government should support the farmer based on the price deficiency payment. This is what the price deficiency payment is all about. Then better use of credit or interest subsidy. That means you got certain credit using Kisan credit card or various other type of agriculture credit loan. Okay, so you have to utilize this money in order to generate the resources. Okay, so you have to make sure that the subsidy money, you have to be better spending that money. It should not be go on to the unproductive sector. Okay, Sometimes what they see is that they get the loan under Kisan credit card or big farming loans you are getting, and you are investing that money in marriages, you are buying cars. Okay, so the agriculture loan money you have spent on marriages and cars, and you have to also pay the interest. So exactly what we have to do, we have to invest, and we have to make sure that the money that has been utilized, that has been asked, has been spent on that sector itself. Okay, so we have to maintain, and we have to properly maintain the credit infrastructure for this whole purposes. Now we are moving towards the next topic, government initiative, Indian government initiative, what they are doing in order to enhance our proper agriculture system. Now, what is the agriculture pricing policy in our country? So here we will be going in a historical way. Historically, agriculture like pricing policy is like an institutional mechanism that we are providing, proper set mechanism, like what is the prices, how we are going to do. So this whole thing, everything started during the time when we are having a shortage, during the time of 1960s, when we have a lot of shortage of the food, and we don't know what exactly we wanted to do, and farmers are also not understanding like whether they will be getting proper price for their crops or not. So government came with the pricing policy. Government came with the process of procurement and distribution of major food grain that was introduced, and statutory minimum price were set. That means government will tell how the procurement will be done, how the distribution will be done, and at what prices the government will be taking. That is minimum prices that government will be taking that. So here government is providing a guarantee to the farmer that your product will be purchased, your product will be distributed, and we will be taking the product from you at a summed minimum price value in which you earn something. Okay, so there are various type of agricultural pricing policies. So there are three main type of administered price are there. One is support price, second is procurement price, and third one is issue price. So we will be understanding each and every one of them. Okay, so what is the meaning of support price? So during the time of Rabi crop season, that means we have a wheat during December, we sow this crop. So government releases that wheat, we will procure wheat for 3,500 per 100 kg. That is what the support price government say that we will be paying to buy all grain offered. So whatever the grain will be offered, how much grain will be offered, we will be paying at this price. Okay, so this is a guarantee price. And since the government is guaranteeing this price, so it automatically affects the decision of the farmer indirectly. Now farmer will be having, okay, government said that the government will be buying this my rice crop or wheat crop. So let's make this wheat crop. We will continue with the wheat crop. We will sow the wheat crop because we know how much price we are going to get. So farmers say that, okay, we are producing around 200 kg of wheat. So we will be getting 7,000 rupees from the government. Okay, that is the minimum that we will be exactly getting. Okay, so he is assured of that price, right? So based on that he will allocate the land, based on that he will sow the crop, and based on that he will be utilizing the agriculture inputs and everything, right? And he will be also seeing the quantity of the procured will be determined, and then what is the quantity that government is going to procure will be determined by the government need. Like how much has to be distribution from the PDS shop, and how much has to be maintained in the buffer stock. Okay, PDS shop में कितना देना है और buffer stock में कितना maintain करना है, ये this what government decided, right? So whenever we say that see, we have a very good cropping season, like in a surplus state, free market prices would have been lower. Like if we say that all of a sudden we have a very good crop, okay, we have a very good crop, right? So the prices goes low because bumper production will be there. Okay, bumper production, huge production will be there. So obviously whenever production is high, supply is high, prices goes down, right? So after the surplus is mopped up, market price tends to run. Okay, so before the government purchase, In a surplus state, free market prices would have been lower. So government recognize the importance of reasonable price to the farmer. Okay, so here government say that even the prices becomes lower, we will be buying at MSP whatever we have offered you during the time of sowing, right? Now that is called minimum support price. This is a long-term guarantee that has been given to the producers. Okay, if all of a sudden prices goes down, all of a sudden the prices goes from very high to very low. Okay, so government said that even if if government say that we will be buying for 3,500, and if the market rate is going on 1,500, so government will be buying at 3,500 because that is the support price government has already offered to the farmers. Okay, even the market price are lower, government will buy at 3,500. Okay, so government do large scale procurement at the MSP. Okay, at the MSP. Then what is the procurement price? Procurement price are higher than MSP. Like if it is MSP is 3,500, then your procurement price may be 3,800. Okay, so higher than MSP and are meant essentially for the purchase of quantity needed by the government to maintain its PDS and for building up the buffer stock. Okay, sometimes the prices are slightly above than the market. So farmer will be saying that I will be selling at the procurement price. If the prices are low, then only MSP comes to play. But if the prices are high, then farmer will send at the procurement price only, right? So MSP is only to limit the loss of a farmer, not even loss, is to provide a good quality profit to the farmer so that at this prices farmer do not have any kind of loss. So if there is a price glut, if that happens, then only the MSP comes to place. Then we have a issue price. What is the issue price? Here, after buying the things, the government provide this food grain through fair price shop, or we call it as a ration shop. Ration shop में जाते हैं, जैसे government ने खरीदा, like if we go by like 3,500 rupees for 100 kg. So how much is rupees? Rupees 35 per kg. Now government will sell this from the PDS or fair price shop at rupees 10 per kg. That is the issue price. Government will bear the loss, and the loss will be called as subsidy. So the basic objective of is to evolve a balanced and stable price structure. So we have to protect the farmer, we have to protect the consumer. Consumer cannot pay high, because see, in the consumer part we are having lot of medium, small and very poor people, ultra poor people are there. They cannot bear the price fluctuation. All of a sudden if the prices goes very high, they are unable to buy the any kind of food crops or cereal crops, because they have a very limited income. They earn the daily wages, and if there is too much fluctuation in the prices, they are not going and their money will be wiped out. So the basic objective is to maintain the balance and protecting certain particular community and type of people, right? So this is like incentive price in the form of minimum support price which government is providing, and for this whole purpose government is providing full institutional mechanism, who will buy, at what price the people will be buying, at what price government will be selling. So this all will be the institutional price mechanism that will be followed. Okay, so minimum, like now I will be giving you one example like how this minimum support price concept works. So minimum support price, as we saw, if there is a wheat crop is there, right? So whenever during the time of the wheat crop, government will say that for wheat crop production, we will be providing you with rupees 2,000 rupees per quintal, like 2,000 rupees per 100 kg. Okay, so government guarantees this irrespective of the market condition. Market condition can be anything, but normally it is like when the market goes lower than this, then only MSP comes into place. Otherwise, if the prices are very high, like if the prices are already 3,000, then farmer will sell for 3,000 only, right? But only when the prices goes below 2000, then this concept of MSP will come into place, because government will provide support to the farmer in that way. Then what is this issue price? Issue price is like when the government distribute this food grain, like government has bid for 2000 per quintal, but through PDS government is selling at rupees 25 per kg. So this 25 per kg will be the issue price at which the wheat is provided to the consumer. 1 minute. Here a slightly change in the example is there. Okay, so not 25, we will put at like 15 rupees per kg. 15 rupees per kg. Okay, because that calculation is not going to be perfect, because if we are buying at 2000 rupees and we are selling for, like, if we calculate by 25 rupees per kg, that means for 100 kg it is going to be 2500, correct? It is more than your MSP, right? So if government is buying for 2000 per kg, that means government is buying for 20 rupees per kg. 20 rupees per kg. So we have to sell it for certain lesser than that, right? So we said that a government is selling for rupees 15 per kg. That means government is providing rupees 5 per kg subsidy on this whole concept. Okay, then procurement price. So procurement price at which the government buys the crop directly from the farmer through authorized agencies like Food Corporation of India and state agencies are there. Okay, so if the government directly buys the wheat from the farmer at rupees 2000 per quintal, the MSP, then 2000 rupees would be the procurement price. Okay, so procurement price and MSP are close to same thing only, but here the only difference is that procurement price depends on the market, and MSP is the guarantee that government gives, and if the procurement price are higher, then people will sell it at procurement price only. Okay, now minimum support price concept started in 1960. Even prior to that, we are motivating the farmer, like a farmer should utilize better technologies, farmer should invest in the various type of land development program, proper science and technologies things they have to utilize. Okay, but until and unless farmer don't have any assured reasonable price, because farmer don't know when the prices goes down, right? So we need to make sure that they have to be provide assurance that yes, you will get your prices for that. So there was a committee that has been set up in 1964 and 65, which has been tasked to provide that what is going to be the terms and reference, and this committee will be advising the government on various type of prices, like what is going to the price policy, how much price of that product, how much price for that commodity. Okay, so this recommendation led to the formation of Agriculture Price Commission, that we call it as APC, and later that has been named as CACP, Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices. CACP, this question always comes, CACP questions always comes on the UPSC. Okay, so they ask like who sets the MSP for the crop? It is Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices set MSP. Okay, so this Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices was set up in 1985. His task is like to find out the various strategies, how we can support the farmer and what type of price support we can provide. Okay, like based on the type of various inputs like your high yielding variety seed, chemical fertilizer, mechanization, and various things are there. So this committee has been tasked to find out how we can increase the productivity, how we can deviate the farmer from one part to the other part, how we can motivate the farmer for modern input, and how they can go for various other productivity increase techniques, right? So the development strategy in turn requires that the price policy should encourage farmers to make greater investment, right? So this development strategy says that farmer has to invest in operations. Okay, so this minimum support price that we are giving to the farmer has certain aim: remunerative and stable price. And we are expecting that the farmer should utilize this money to increase their production, so that our food grain productivity, our food grain buffer should increase. Okay, so this is what the development strategies, and under that only we will be having a lot of weaknesses are also there. Okay, so weaknesses are like that we are providing numerative, so because of that we are going towards a cereal centric production. Then improving the economic access to the people, we are buying the product at higher price and we are selling at lower price. But sometimes there is very high inflation in the market, and because of that there is a eating away of the money that happens. Then we are expecting that with this providing of the MSP, we will be helping the farmer that they will be changing their cropping pattern, they will be diversifying their cropping pattern with the help of MSP. Okay, during 1960s this provide a very favorable atmosphere, but right now the farmers have become so cereal centric that there is no diversification of the crop that is happening. So with the development strategy we are getting certain weakness in each development strategy. Okay, so now we are moving towards the Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices, CSCP, which is the main head of this whole MSP concept. Okay, we know that this came into existence in January 1965. Okay, Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices, which is attached to Ministry of Agriculture. So there are they have a chairman, that is a member secretaries, one member official, two member non-official. Okay, and the non-official members belongs to the farming committee. Okay, so we have a kind of a inclusion over here. Okay, so the main task of this whole thing, of whole Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices, is to recommend the minimum support price, to how we can incentivize the cultivator to adopt the modern technologies, how we can incentivize the cultivator to raise the productivity, how we can incentivize the cultivator to overall gain the productivity. Okay, based on the demand pattern, based on the type of technologies and everything, this commission has been tasked to recommend MSP. So CSCP stands for recommendation for MSP, minimum support prices, right? So MSP for major agricultural inputs are being fixed by the government every year before the sowing season. Okay, and they have to take recommendation of the commission. So you know, Press Information Bureau, under the Press Information Bureau, every year before every sowing season, government say that now we are releasing the MSP for various crops. So for this cropping season, this is going to be the prices for the crops. Okay, so in CSCP recommends 23 commodities. There are 23 commodities under 4 heads: 7 cereal crops, 5 pulses, 7 oilseed, and 4 commercial crops. For this, MSP is being declared by the government. Okay, so this price policy research comes under the 6 groups: kharif crop, rabi crop, sugarcane, raw jute, copra, and cotton. And cotton is also there. So these are the top like 7 cereal crops are there, 5 pulses are there, 7 oilseed, and 4 commercial crops are there. You can read all these names are being written over here, right? Now we are moving towards the what is the need of MSP? Obviously, we all know that since we have already done, since with MSP we also have to read this concept like market or marketing price. The price of agricultural commodity is highly unstable. We don't know at what time the glut come, or all of a sudden the prices goes very high. We don't know. Okay, because we have a very variation in the supply. We don't know when the supply goes very high, when the supplies goes very down. We don't know, like there is a very lack of market integration. We are not directly connected, and the information is very small, very less, and it is highly asymmetrical information set. So that is why, to counter such variation in the agriculture market, in the agriculture pricing market, government comes with the concept of MSP. Government has come with the concept of MSP. Every year during every sowing season, government come with the pricing mechanism for that. So before sowing season, it guarantees the farmer that for this crop we are providing you to this money. Like means, if we say that government say that, or for the gram we will be providing you 7,200, per 100 gram per 100 kg for maize we'll providing this much money. So that is the guarantee. That is the guarantee that government is providing for that. Okay. Now, rapid and high fluctuation in agriculture price have a very negative impact. Like if there is a very good harvest, all of a sudden the prices goes down. So farmer might have invested 9,000 and farmer may only earn 4,000. Okay, because during that time prices were low because of a high production. So this low prices under which government provide MSP, so that even if the prices goes down, farmer should get the proper price for that. Okay, if the particular crop declines steeply, grower with very little income. Okay, so in order to secure their income, we are providing them with MSP. Okay, and if there is a sudden increase in the prices, so consumer will suffer. Consumer will suffer, right? So their consumption will be out of situation, right? Consumer will not have left income. The money that will be utilized for their buying of the products, it will go in inflation. Okay, so the people will be going into the different field and they will be buying certain other goods. Okay, so this is going to be a disastrous effect on the whole sector. So in order to maintain the optimum prices, neither very high rise of the food crop, neither very low decrease in the price of food crop should happen. That is why the concept of MSP has come into being. Now, determination of MSP. Now, what Commission for Agriculture Cost and Price do in order to come to know what is going to be the MSP of these crops? So whenever CACP comes to MSP, the CACP has to go through various factors. Okay, then only recommend that how much MSP for that crop has to be done. Okay, sorry. First of all, they look for supply and demand for this crop. What is the market price trend of that crop? What is the parity with other crop? That means parity means whether there is a lot of deviation towards that crop or whether there is less deviation towards that crop. Then what is the implication for that consumer, whether it will lead to inflation or whether it will lead to deflation. Then what is the environmental implication of this crop, soil implication, water use implication, power implication. Then what is the terms of trade between agriculture and non-agriculture sector. So all these things are being taken into account, and then only it will decided like what is going to be the MSP of wheat, what is going to be the MSP of rice. Okay, based on understanding all these scenarios. Okay, so there are three production cost for every crop, three kind of production cost for every crop. Okay, for a state and all India level. So you might have been seen in the news that there is farm protest going on, right? There are farm protests are going on and they are demanding that we should get the hike of 1.5 times over C2. So what is the meaning of this C2? What is the meaning of A2 plus FL? What is the meaning of A2? Okay, so while coming out and finding out the MSP, we first check what is the actual cost that has been paid by the farmer, like seed, fertilizer, pesticide, labor, hired labor, rent of land, machinery if hired. That is called as A2 cost. Okay, so when A2 cost, that is above cost, is mixed with family labor, unaccounted family labor, that means labor we have counted, hired labor, but family also is working on that field. Okay, so whenever we add family labor also in that, then we get that A2 plus FL cost. A2 plus FL. FL stands for family labor, right? Then what is this C2? C2 stands for comprehensive cost. That means it includes notional cost of family labor, notional rent of owned land, and notional interest of the owned capital. When we include all these things, we get cost C2. That means this is going to be much larger than A2 plus FL, because here we are adding everything. Notion cost of family labor, proper cost of family labor, Notional rent owned land, how much rent, and that means exactly you should give if you are owning a land. Then notional interest on owned capital, how much interest you are paying on certain capital that you have taken, that is C2. So C2 cost is high, and farmer is asking, we have to get the hike of 1.5 times in this C2, not in A2 plus FL. They are saying that if you are calculating 1.5 times of MSP, then you should provide us on C2 cost, not on A2 plus FL, right? So this CSEP does not do any field-based cost estimation. So they just find out the data. They get the data from the state, like what is the state wise, what is the cropping pattern, at how much a state is growing rice, how much a state is growing wheat, right? So the CSEP is not going to any field work. They are just taking the data from the state. How much crop, what type of crop, where that crop, okay, from the Directorate of Economic Statistics in Agriculture. Okay, and then these projections are being taken in order to find out like what is going to be the MSP of that work. Okay, so this is A2. A2 cover all cash and in-kind expenses, seed, fertilizer, chemical. In-kind means your family labor. Okay, sorry, not family labor, normal in-kind labor where you are paying that. Okay, hired labor. Then in actual cost you are putting unpaid family labor. Here you are putting family labor, that is called FL. Then C2 includes A2 plus FL. A2 plus FL along with revenue foregone of owned land rent and fixed capital asset interest. This is what is exactly added over in C2. Okay, so A2 plus FL plus what is the revenue that has been foregone if you were using the owned land, and fixed capital asset of interest, how much you are providing for that. Okay, so in 2014, what is the issue that is happening? Recent changes in MSP, that government said that in 2014 budget that we will be offering you 50% margin over cost C2. That means whatever your cost C2, 50% more we will be giving, but it was not implemented till now, right? Then again in budget 2018 and 19, government announced that MSP would be 1.5 times of the production cost. But government said that at predetermined principles. Okay, so simply put, the CSEP job will be only to estimate. So what CSEP will do? CSEP will say that okay, this is the MSP we have put and we have to make it 1.5 times. Okay, so no, not like that. Sorry, 1 minute. CSEP will find out the production cost. Then once the production cost came into being, the CSEP will say what, multiplied by 1.5 times of the formula. That only CSEP has to do. But in this 2018-19 budget speech, they have not specified under which head they are going to do that 1.5. Whether in AL plus FL, what is that? A2 plus FL, sorry. A2 plus FL or C2. So government said that the MSP was determined based on 1.5 times of A2 plus FL. So this is not being accepted by the farmer and farmer activists. They said that 1.5 times has to happen on C2 costing. 1.5 times has to have on C2 costing, not on A2 plus FL costing, and since then all the issues are happening. Then what is the issue of raising the MSP? It is said that if you are doing the costing of C2, 1.5 times of C2, then it is impractical to give 50% margin, because if we are doing that, the prices MSP will be rising by 35 to 40%, even if we go by paddy MSP. So right now whatever we are giving for paddy, it will increase by 46%. Okay, it will be increased by 46%, and this also ignores the demand side of the crop. Whether, so they said that okay, rice, so people are only putting rice, wheat, and they are ignoring all other crops. Government is providing okay, we will be give you MSP on that, but government has to make sure that people should diversify their work. They should invest in diversified fields, right? So this is again one of the complication is that it ignores the demand side. Even we don't know that much of rice, even if we don't want that much of wheat, still people are producing that just because they are getting higher MSP in that. So that is again one of the drawback of that. So now how we evaluate this whole concept of MSP? Obviously, since 1960s and 70s, the MSP was very, very helpful to the farmer because it has raised the standard of living, income of the farmer, and provided income security to the farmer. Okay, and because of that, we have become a grain surplus country with self-reliance on the food grain. So that means we have a very, very strong base of the food production in our country, and we have a buffer stock. We have a good amount of PDS supply and everywhere. So this is a very, very favorable impact of the farmer income, right? And it even led to the utilize of various inputs and high yielding variety seeds and high yielding variety fertilizer, and we have now a very integrated agriculture system. Here Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices have even provided price assurance to the farmer, because now farmers are assured that if we are growing the crop we will get price assurance, and because of that we have become grain surplus country. But there are issues that are there which related to MSP. Obviously it lead to the inflationary trend. Okay, so if you continuously hiking the MSP and procurement prices, so the rich farmer, because rich farmer will lobby. Rich farmers say this, sir, please increase the prices of rice only and wheat only. Okay, they have a large fields, and government if keep on running and increasing the MSP, automatically the prices will go very high, and all of a sudden the MSP, and there will be inflationary trend that will be coming. Okay, and because of that, by providing good amount of subsidy, food subsidy will go very, very high. Food subsidy will go very, very high, and bias in favor of surplus states. Those states like northwestern Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, and some part of like a good part of Rajasthan, sorry, Andhra Pradesh is there, Karnataka is there, Tamil Nadu is there. Most of these states which are producing wheat, okay, similarly like some states are producing wheat, some places are producing rice. So only particular amount of states were only getting the proper subsidy, because government is providing like the we are having a cereal centric subsidy. So only wheat and rice part are getting, and rice states, surplus states are getting the subsidy. So because of that, it is biasing in favor of the surplus state. Then adverse impact on the investment. So if we are providing due to extra expenditure on the food procurement, the sector loses out new investment. That means if you are paying more money in the subsidy, if you are doing more expenditure in the subsidy, then you are putting less money for investment. Okay, even a 10% increase in MSP of wheat and rice would lead to the overall decline of 1.9% in overall GDP. Decline in investment by 1.9% and overall GDP by 0.3%. That means if you are increasing the MSP, you are decreasing the investment in the GDP. Okay, then it also distort the cropping pattern. Why? Because if the farmer are thinking that, oh, keep only wheat and rice, and just because government is providing good support and all these things, so only do wheat and rice, wheat and rice, and wheat and rice. So because of that, your cropping pattern got distorted, right? Because sometimes wheat and rice are being higher than cost of production, and the cereals and pulses has been less than the cost of the production. Okay, so farmer get incentivized for growing profitable crop, hence cropping pattern gets distorted, right? Like if the rice and wheat are getting lot of profit, so the people start ignoring the pulses, people are ignoring the oil seeds, all these crops, copra, cotton, and everything gets ignored. So because of that, cropping pattern got distorted. Then faulty criteria being used for calculating of the MSP. Since MSP is calculated by CACP, Commission for Agriculture Cost and Prices, slowly there are inbuilt efficiencies that are coming, like land unsuitable for cultivation, right? Rice cultivation is done in semi-arid region, because they think that okay, we will get good support MSP for rice. So even where the water facility is not good, even where the proper soil is not there, still people are growing rice over there, which is highly water intensive crop. Okay, then bias in favor of large farmer, we have already discussed this point. Then deterrent to crop diversification, it is also a part of like adverse impact, like here cropping pattern. Okay, so if we go for cropping pattern, we are not doing crop diversification because we are focusing on certain crops. If we are only focusing on certain crops, then obviously the crop diversification will not happen, and slowly we will be having a shortage of pulses and edible oils and various other crops, and then we have to import these crops from the outside, and that put a forex reserve on strain. Okay, so these are all the issue related to the raising of the MSP. Then flaws in the PDS system are there. Okay, because they are because even if we are growing good quality of wheat and rice, only inferior grain reaches to the poor people, and because of that the health of the poor people is getting neglected. Okay, high cost running urban area, benefit is not reaching to the target beneficiaries at the proper time. Okay, then rural population, if there is a sudden rise in the cereal prices because higher MSP, okay, leading to the significant burden of high cost to the buyer. Up government is saying that okay, we will be buying at 2500, okay, but still if the prices are very high, and if the procurement price are very high, obviously in the main market the prices will be very high. So it is very difficult for the poor and the marginal people to buy these products. Okay, there is, if you are providing a lot of price incentive, so there will be huge fiscal burden. Okay, so wages are linked to the agriculture prices. Okay, if the agriculture prices goes high, wages goes high. Okay, because if agriculture prices goes high, wages very high, wages increases, inflation increases again the wages, so this cycle keeps on continuing. Okay, and the money of the poor and the marginalized people directly goes into the inflation only, and their purchasing powers goes down. Purchasing power goes down because of this cycle. Okay, so there is a need to fresh look at the minimum support price, so that the minimum support price or differential price only has to be given to the farmer. We have discussed about the differential price, right? And it should not distort the market. It should go, and it has to be properly targeted, and this MSP should be the money utilized for the development of the agriculture, right? Like there are a lot of things are there. We have to develop the capital, we have to develop the proper land patterns, we have to make sure that diversification should happen, so we have to put the money in that field. Now we all know that Farms Act have been passed in the last year. Okay, last 2-3 years back, these Farms Act have been passed, and now the government has repealed these Farm Act. But we will be just watching about like what points were there in the Farms Act and why the people are ignoring, and why the people are asking to repeal these Farms Act. So the three type of Farm Acts had been passed. So three acts are the Farmer Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act of 2020. Second law was the Farmer Empowerment and Protection Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Service Act of 2020. Then Essential Commodity Act of 2020. So what is that there in the Farmer Produce Trade and Commerce? It contains like open up agriculture sale and marketing outside notified MC. That means you can sell outside wherever you want. It is not like that compulsory you have to come and sell it in the mandi. Okay, so that means removing the barrier, and then it removes the barrier for interstate. Now you can just sell your product anywhere throughout the country. That means you have an integrated market of the all country. Okay, then concept of electronic trading has been established, and it prohibits the state government from collecting market fee. That means if the market is outside APMC, you cannot collect the market fees. Okay, if the market is inside the APMC, Agriculture Product and Market Committee, inside the APMC mandi, then you can collect the farm fee. But inside, then anywhere outside, you cannot collect the market fees, cess or levy for the trade outside the APMC market. Then the second one is the Farmer Empowerment Protection Agreement of Price Assurance and Farmer Services. It is related to contract farming. That means there are a lot of farmers in Gujarat is there. Those who are doing contract farming. That means with big industries like we have our PepsiCo, we have a product of Lay's chips, right? So Lay's chips, they have done a contract farming with the farmers of the Gujarat for potato. Okay, they require a certain type of a potato which is longer in length and which is heavier in length. Okay, so that is like contract. It is a contract between the farmer that you produce that we will buy all the potatoes from your market, and this was a contract. Okay, here government formalizes all the contract farming in this act. Okay, mutually agreed remunerative prices, proper prices has to be maintained, proper trade agreement should be there, proper written framework should be there prior to the production. Okay, so that nobody should nobody should say that we have not done that. Okay, so that is farmer empowerment and protection. Then third one is Essential Commodity Act. That means this act wanted to remove cereal, pulses, oilseed, edible oil, and potato from the list of essential commodity. Okay, so this amendment said that we have to deregulate. So remove this cereal, pulses, and oilseed, edible oils from the Essential Commodity Act, because if there is an Essential Commodity Act, then government has a very good control over that. Okay, if it is outside the Essential Commodity Act, it is up to the farmer what he or she wanted to do with cereal, pulses. It is not like that government is going to control that regarding production, storage, movement, and distribution. If it is essential commodity, then government have a good regulation. So that means government wanted to deregulate this Essential Commodity Act for these crops. Okay, so government is allowing the regulation of supply during the war. That means if there is any war, if there is any pandemic or any extraordinary situation that comes, then we can regulate this. Otherwise, there is no need to regulate this market because we are already self-sufficient in that. So what is the farmer issue? What farmer says that? So Punjab and Haryana farmer says that laws has been enacted to dismantle the MSP system. Why to dismantle the MSP system? Because since in APMC Mandi, if you are selling something, you have to sell it MSP or above that. Now with this act, which is the act name is Farmer Produce Trade and Commerce, it said that now market can be open outside the Mandi also. Okay, that means opening the market. So who will guarantee MSP outside the market? Who will guarantee the MSP outside the market? So they have a term that big corporate houses will dictate the terms to the farmer and they will get very less for their crops. And farmer even fear that slowly government may disband the Mandi system. If there is a disbanding of Mandi system, because right now if Mandi system is there is a guarantee that farmer is going to get that much of price. Because there are Adhatiyas. Adhatiyas are the traders who buy and sell the products. These are the commission agents who pitch in for loan, because for the small and medium farmer, these Adhatiyas provide the loans. So if this Mandi system slowly get collapsed, so this Adhatiya system will get collapsed, and because of that the credit system to the medium and small farmer will get collapsed. So they are demanding that you should withdraw these three laws which deregulate the sale of their crop. That means since they are saying that okay, you can sell it Mandi and you can also sell in the open market, but they said that the farmer is asking that you should deregulate, that you should remove this law which is deregulating the sale of their crop. The crop should be regulated by the farmer. Okay, and farmer said that we need legal assurance for MSP. That means you should make it statutory. You should make it statutory by bringing the law, which is right now going on in 2024 near the Delhi border. They are saying that you provide statutory banking, bring the law and keep that this is the guarantee that we are going to provide. This is what the farmer is asking forward. Okay, and imposition of any stock limit on agriculture produce must be based on price rise. Farmer are saying that if you are imposing on a stock limit, but it should be based on price rise. Like if the price is there, 100% increase in the retail price is happening, then you can do certain kind of imposition. Okay, it is not like that you are imposing stock limit whenever you are wanting. No, it is like that there should be certain criteria that should be there for imposition of any stock limit. Okay, then farmers and right activists have suggested that you should not dismantle the monopoly of AMC. That means they are saying that APMC should be there. But they are saying that make sure that this APMC should function more effectively. Make sure that you make the work of APMC more effective. You should make the work more effective and do not just simply put APMC as one market. So you can just give that some alternate way, but make APMC more and more stronger. That is what the farmer concern is. Now we are moving into some larger scale, like how WTO, World Trade Organization, uh, is dealing with the subsidies throughout given to the world, because subsidy is a very big issue throughout the world, and there is a lot of issues related to, like, developed world is providing a lot of subsidies. Because of that their rates are less, and because of that we are not able to sell our product. Okay, so based on that there is a whole lot of concept that has been developed by the WTO in order to regulate the subsidies that is being provided by the member countries. Okay, so now let's see what is this whole concept about the WTO subsidies. Okay, historically we know that agriculture is being subject to the regulation by the government, right? 1948, after just the World War and India got independent, general agreement on trade and tariffs and trade came into being. Okay, so they were releasing the data, like how the agriculture trade should happen, what are the strict discipline we have to maintain, how we have to provide subsidies and everything. Okay, so measures that obstruct import began to be used wisely. Okay, so during that time there are a lot of countries, they have utilized various type of tools in obstructing the imports, so that they should not get any imports from other country, they should only export. Like they were doing some kind of import bans are there, that means this type of products you cannot sell in our country. Then import quota, that means you can only sell that much of quantity. Then if you cannot ban it, or if you cannot put quota, then you increases import duty so that their product become more costlier. Okay, and various type of duties are there, minimum import price are there. So these all type of tactics is being utilized by the various countries. So we know that richer countries were paying a lot of subsidies to their farmers, and they have thousands of acres of lands are there, even a slight amount of subsidy, and they are providing a huge amount of crops. So developing countries were facing a lot of issues, and because of these richer countries, these developing countries are having the price distortion that was happening. Okay, because their export is getting banned, because of that there are a lot of import quotas were there and everything. Okay, so there was a lot of negotiation have started, and with this negotiation in 1986 there was a Uruguay round has taken place in order to find out, like, what reforms we have to take in the providing subsidies in the agriculture sector. So in 1995 what happened? Uruguay round led to the formation of WTO. Why? In 1994 we have General Agreement on Trade, Tariff and Trade. In 1995 this got converted into WTO at Uruguay round of GATT. Okay, so the main so there was a agreement on agriculture that was signed. That was a main objective that has been signed. The focus was on long-term objective, like how we can make the market fair for everybody, how we can make certain specific comment, like developing countries should do that, developing countries should do that. Okay, and we also have to say that what type of concerns, like trade concerns, like trade non-trade concern, like you are not trading but you have certain food security you have to keep, you have a PDS, you have a buffer stock that you have to keep, you have some differential treatment that you should need, right? Then what are the country specific commitments that are there? Okay, so this all topics are being discussed during the Uruguay round of 1995 and WTO came into being, right? Then what are the special agriculture safeguard that we can provide to that, like if all of a sudden import surge happen, then what kind of support we can take? Okay, so under the Uruguay round they have categorized two domestic support that you can give, two type of support you can give to your agriculture. One is the support which causes very minimal distortion, or no, that means you keep on giving support to that type of activity because that doesn't affect the supply and demand of anything, and it doesn't affect the pricing. Okay, so they are all put under the green box. The green box means, okay, check in, That means if government is investing in agriculture research, agriculture training, so they are not affecting any supply or distortion. They are not distorting the market, right? Then there are another group that is called trade distorting support, that is often called as amber box subsidy. That means here the WTO is limiting you to provide subsidy or support. Okay, so our MSP, minimum support price, comes under this amber box subsidy. So we will be discussing in more detail what is the meaning of green box and your amber box. So green box means here you can provide any amount of money in to support these activity. Okay, like it is, this box applies to both developing and developed countries, right? So whenever we say green box means like you are providing money to research program, pest and disease, because they are all things which are not increasing your production, but they are improving the agriculture productivity, right? Anything which does not influence the volume, anything which does not influence the production, or if you are doing any direct payment, but if it is not influencing any volume increase, or like if you are providing something and all of a sudden the volume increases, all of a sudden the production increases, then you cannot put that in green box. Okay, if you are investing somewhere and it doesn't increase volume or production, but it protects that thing over there only, then we will putting in the green box, because they are non distorting, they're non-distorting in nature. So these are coming in the green box subsidy. Then coming the amber box subsidy. Amber box means these are causing the huge distortion in the market. Okay, all of a sudden you have provided cash subsidies. Okay, like you are providing MSP, procurement price, fertilizer, free fertilizer, water subsidy, credit, power. You are providing free of cost the power, you are providing free of cost the water. So they are trade distortion, because if you are providing free, then automatically the prices of the product will go down and it will distort the international market, right? Then we have a blue box subsidy. These blue box subsidy are tied to certain production which is limiting the program. That means government is paying you the money to limit the production. That means if you have this field, okay, and you are growing in both these fields certain type of products, okay, then government say that okay, if you only sow your half field and keep your half field vacant, so we will be providing you certain support, we will be providing you with certain support for keeping this field empty. Okay, that means it is a production limiting program. So to limit the production, or by imposing quotas, or to set farmer aside a portion of their land. Okay, so that means the blue box is also called amber box with condition. That means it is still an amber box, but you have certain condition. Okay, so the main purpose of this is that we wanted to reduce the distortion in this whole market. So that is why this blue box subsidies. Okay, so main purpose is to limit the production, right? So if you are doing some direct payments, if you are saying that okay, we are providing you directly for this payment, but you should not do this work. Okay, so like livestock payment must be based on set of number of animal, like how much animals you are having, based on that you are paying to that livestock manager, like that, so that you are limiting the livestocks. Okay, so right now European Union, Iceland, Norway, Japan, Slovakia Republic, Slovenia, then the United States are no longer using this box, have notified WTO that they are using or have used the blue box. That means USA is right now not using this box, but these countries, these are called as Scandinavian countries, they are utilizing this blue box subsidy because they have a lot of livestock population is there. So in order to limit the livestock, in order to control the livestock, they are being giving blue box subsidy in order to control the productions of these livestock. Okay, so this is coming under that. So this is for like you are running certain program in order to control something, not to increase something. right? So this is what your blue box subsidy. Then we have a special and differential treatment. So there are a lot of countries where a lot of low income and poor people are there. So there we are providing certain kind of special and differential treatment, like fertilizer to farmer, only to the low income and poor person, only to a low income and a poor person we are providing fertilizer subsidy or seed subsidy, power subsidy. Okay. Then measure for diversification of narcotic crop in order to rehabilitate the farmer. So here government is providing support to the diversification of narcotic crop, so to rehabilitate the people. So here like you are investing in tractors, you are providing tractors, you are providing pumps at, look in the PM Kusum Yojana, Kusum Yojana, Krishi Uthan Yojana, where we are providing solar pumps. So that will come under the special and differential treatment box. Then we have a de minimis box. What is the meaning of de minimis box? So what is the meaning of de minimis subsidy support? You know, here if the government is providing domestic support, even if you are supporting, if you are providing certain support, even if they are distorting the trade, even if that subsidy is distorting the trade, so there is a limit that is there. So there is no requirement to reduce the trade distorting domestic support in any year if the product specific support does not exceed 5%. That means you can especially support any product, but only up to 5% of the total value of the production of that crop. Okay, of that production in question. Okay, up to not exceeding 5%. That is for product specific support that you can provide. Then non-product specific, which is less than 5% of the value of total agriculture production, is also exempted from deduction. So this 5% applies for developed countries, and developing countries the minimum ceiling is 10%. So average we have taken 5%, but if you are focusing on that, the 5% threshold is for developed country. That means if you are focusing on the product specific, 5%, okay, and it is for 10% for the developing countries. Okay, but this whole subsidy quantum is being calculated after the consideration of the prices that prevailed 2 decades ago. That means 20 years back, what were the prices, based on that only this 5% and 10% will be calculated. So India is well below, within the de minimis level of 10% for all its measures. That means based on the pricing of 20 years back, India is supporting the crop, but their value is like the support is not going above 10% for any other crop. That means we are already under the de minimis support. That means we are all adhering to the WTO subsidy box. So this is what agriculture agreement. Market access like tariff, safeguard and tariff quota. Then domestic support, how you can give, using green box, blue box, development box, amber box. Under amber box you have de minimis support, and amber box with commitment. Okay, AMS cuts are there, right? Then export competitions are there, which we will be doing in the later on classes for other topics. So we are doing subsidies now, that is why we are discussing only this part. Okay, so there is also a peace clause, because this is a very important, because there are a lot of countries, are there which are running food security program. They have to keep PDS, they have to keep buffer stock. So there is a legal provision under Article 3 of the Agreement of Agriculture that happens in Eurogame round. Okay, so anything that has been done under this peace clause will not be illegal. Okay, but this peace clause got expired in January 1, 2004, and then temporary peace clause has been added, and this was valid in 2013 for 4 years until 2017. Okay, so no country would be legally barred. That means you cannot prosecute any country just because they have violated anything under peace clause. Okay, if you wanted to provide food to the people of your country, like in the from the PDS shop, from the ration shop, or for a food security program, okay, even if your subsidy breaches that limit, okay, then you will not be prosecuted, right? Then we come the Doha round. Doha round has called as Doha Development Round, which started in 2001. For under Doha Development Round, we have two conferences: Bali Ministerial Conference in 2013 and Nairobi in Kenya that has happened in 2015. So what happens in the 2013 Bali Ministerial Conference? Let's start doing that. So under the Bali Ministerial Conference, four important decisions have been taken and one declaration, right? Agreement to negotiate a permanent solution on public stockholding for food security. That means because of that, peace clause was there, but there was no permanent solution that has been discussed over there. Okay, because they said that okay, you can give whatever support you wanted to give under the public stockholding for food security, but there was no permanent solution that has been given for public stockholding for food security. Okay, so agreement to negotiate on permanent solution that has been come. Then there was the agreement to expand the green BICS law for general services. Okay, like adding land uses, like if you can invest in the land reforms, water management, rural livelihood security. So this should come under the green box subsidy, right? Then there was a declaration that has been signed to reduce all form of export subsidy. That means if you are providing subsidies for export, that means if the US government is providing a lot of subsidies to their farmer for export of their good, obviously US will be able to provide good amount of subsidy, right? So because of that, their prices goes down, and because of that, our prices goes high, and people will start buying the US products. So there was a declaration that we have to reduce all form of export subsidies, especially the developed countries, and also to enhance and transparency and make sure that export competition happen based on market principles. Then there was a temporary peace clause again added in the Bali declaration. Okay, that no country would be legally barred from food security program if their subsidy breaches for 4 years until 2017. So till 2017 they have said that okay, if any country breaches the food security limit, so they will not be legally barred for anything. But still permanent solution has been not given for the PDS system and food security system which countries are running for their poor. Okay, then come in 2015 the Nairobi package, Kenya, right? So the historic decision: eliminate agriculture export subsidy. In that they have said in that we have to reduce in the Bali, but now they said that eliminate all the export subsidies. Members shall eliminate, but timelines have been given, like developed countries will be removing the export subsidy by this time. Developing countries will be removing the subsidy during by that time, because we have to achieve certain target, like we wanted to achieve sustainable development goal of zero hunger by 2030. So we have to make sure that proper competition has to be maintained in the market, and discipline has to be maintained in food aid. That means you are providing food aid to the world, like in Africa. Okay, who is providing? USA is providing, Ukraine is providing, Russia is providing food aid. So there should be discipline in the food aid, so that your food aid does not negatively affect the domestic producer. Like if Russia is providing food grain at very highly subsidized rate, if they are providing, so people will start buying Russian food grain. And what about the local producer of that area? The local producer will go down. So the discipline in the food aid has to be maintained. The food aid should not be in such a way that it should distort the local market. Then it has said that we have to engage constructively in finding out the permanent solution for public stockholding program and food security program, because again there was no permanent solution for them. Okay, and then there was a continuous negotiation for a special safeguard mechanism and temporary raise of the tariff if there is sudden distortion of the marketing that is happening, like if there is any product which is distorting the market, so you can utilize certain special safeguard measures. So this is what there in the Nairobi package. Okay, so India has signed this agreement, that India is expecting that we will be getting good amount of support for the agriculture, domestic support. India thought that India will get very good importance say in the international market. India thought that India will be getting a very good export prospect for this whole product. So this was India expecting. India was expecting all these things, but what happens? All of a sudden, the prices of agriculture goes down because the product from outside flooded our market, and because of that, the price of the product goes down, and this was the India disadvantage, and that is why India is still asking that for the reformation in the WTO, and India is asking that developed world has to be treated in a different way, and developing countries have to be treated in a different way. Okay, so like if we go by the headache, like Nairobi decision. So impact for India, what is the negative impact? Marketing and transport assistance, sugar in Maharashtra and UP was hit because you cannot provide marketing and transport assistance. Okay, right? Then state trading and state agencies to stop the support. All these support have been stopped. But there was some kind of good that was also happened because of Nairobi, because export subsidy immediate elimination. So developed countries cannot provide now export subsidies, right? Then safeguard against the import surges. This is a neutral concept because India got a statement of intent with no time frame. That means India can do anytime import surge. Like if there is any import surge that is happening, you can immediately take certain special safeguard measures. Okay. Then public stock holding. So India wanted a new formula, but India failed for that. So still we are finding out the formula of like what we can do for our Indian Indian public distribution system. Then Doha round, no commitment on WTO member or to pursue, and no guarantee of European US to lower agriculture subsidy. So this is what just a picture in order to make you understand in a shorter way, right? Now there is a thought that what can be the permanent solution that we can provide for food security at WTO. So there are a lot of permanent solution that we are looking forward, and what all can be that permanent solution is that member countries are always stressing for the WTO for a permanent solution, especially for their food programs and PDS system. Okay, so price involves a degree of government subsidy. There is a cap on these subsidies. So they could otherwise end up distorting the prices. So they have to make sure that the prices has to be in such a way that differential prices should be given. And if the developing countries are keeping stock holding, because that is very important and crucial for their food security program, so that until and unless the permanent solution comes, the thing that has been discussed in Bali round and Doha round has to continue regarding the PDS system and food security program, right? So in Bali meeting of WTO, India along with other developing countries were able to negotiate a peace clause. That means you can go beyond 10% for its MSP. Okay, if you are providing MSP beyond 10% under the peace clause, so in Bali meeting, India has got and able to negotiate this whole peace clause, but India is not satisfied because the proper time frame has not been set. That means they are giving just like, okay, you take 4 year more, then you take 4 year more, but still no permanent solution has come. Okay, even in Nairobi declaration, India failed in exactly finding out the permanent solution for the public stock holding of PDS and food security program. Even that ministerial conference that has happened in Bruno Aires in Argentina, so there was no outcome on public stock holding. That means still we are waiting like what is the permanent solution for the food security program of India? What is the permanent solution? Like if you like we keep on providing and all of a sudden you said that no, you cannot provide this much of money, you cannot provide this much of MSP for food security. So all of a sudden our food security program will collapse. So there is a need to find out certain permanent solution for that, right? So excessive farm subsidy by developed countries. Like how developed nation affects the market, how developed nation affects the market. Wo higher farm subsidies are being provided by these developed countries. Okay, under agriculture, like they can provide 5% support. So they try to manipulate the situation. under aggregate measurement support up to 10% and developed countries by 5%. So under aggregate measure support, there are two type of product specific support you can provide and non-product specific, right? So excess of price is paid to the farmer under product specific, like they have a lot of produce and this price has been frozen in 1986-88 level. So if the prices as frozen at that level, still if we find out the 5% of that price, it is much higher than developing countries. Okay, they said that like 20 years back, what is the price of that agriculture commodity? For that 5% subsidy you can provide product specific. But at that time also, if right now we calculate for developed countries, that is very high, and for developing country it is very very high. Then non-product money is spent on the scheme to supply like fertilizer, seed and all those things, right? So WTO rules makes it possible for rich countries to get away with such high subsidies because AMS levels are high. Aggregate supply, AMC, aggregate measurement support, is very very high because they have a very high aggregate measurement of support. Like if we go and find out like 1986 and 1988 prices, they will be less as per USA, but they are very very high as per developing country. So this 5% and 10% will be calculated on this prices of USA, which is going to be providing very very high subsidies in the USA market, and because of that they distort the international market. Okay, then developed nation has the option to choose 5% product specific or overall ceiling. That they said that either you select 5% specific or an overall ceiling, but USA is subsidizing exceeding 50%. That means 90% of the global aggregate measure support, that means around $160 billion, while India and China have none regarding this support. Okay, developed countries label many subsidies as non-trade distorting. They said that we are providing this subsidy, but it is not trade. They are claiming that to be green box subsidies, but they are distorting the trade at a wire higher level. USA is utilizing all the tops, ups, right and left of green box subsidy, but India support remains very very minimal in that. Then there is a reluctance among the developed countries to acknowledge the economic disparity. Developed countries are not acknowledging that developing countries have their own issues, developed countries have their own issues, right? But they are not accepting that. They don't accept that we have a different problem, they have the different problem, and they think that everybody should be treated in a similar way. But it should not happen because we are developing countries, we need better support, and you already became developed, you should support us with various type of technologies, but they don't want it to understand. Okay, so this is the like what developed countries are doing with the subsidy market. Now there are certain other criteria that are being utilized by the developed countries in order to restrict the trade from the developing countries. They uses a very what we call it as a tool, sanitary and phytosanitary measure of technical barrier. That means developed countries say that if the quality of the product is not that much, and if you are not following that kind of technical know and how, then we cannot take your product. So these are sanitary and phytosanitary measures are there which impose a lot of restriction on the developing countries product, like normally for related to agriculture, then vegetable and various other fruits and everything, they put these kind of sanitary. They said they impose very high standard on their cropping, they impose very high quality standard, high testing laboratory to selectively ward off the imports. They said that we cannot take this because this is not having of our standard, so they are utilizing that. Okay, so that means this agreement on sanitary and phytosanitary measures are there, that has been again discussed in Uruguay round. It set out basic rule for food safety and animal and plant health standards. So there are some standards are there under that. So even the developed countries and developing countries both are sending the products to various type of developing and developed countries, but these rules should not be arbitrary or unjustifiable. unnecessary arbitrary rejection of the crop, unnecessarily rejection of the meat, fruits or vegetables should not be done just because there is very high standard in your country. Even that standard is not being followed by that country, but in order to stop the imports, they import that kind of higher standard in that cropping part. Okay, so they put too much of technical barriers in that, so that they should ward off the import. So the developing countries are again writing the WTO that they should make sure that the sanitary and phytosanitary measures should not be used unjustifiable way, in an arbitrary way. It should be happen in a scientific way. And if whatever the market and whatever the field situation is there in that market, similar field situation if we are having, then they should not put sanitary and phytosanitary measures. So this is again one of the technical barrier the developed world puts on the developing countries products. Okay, so this is what is all about agriculture subsidies and WTO market. Now we are moving towards what exactly we can do. So what is the positive impact of the subsidy? Obviously it corrects the market, it stimulates the economic growth, and it also helps in the social welfare, which points we have already discussed already in detail in the class. So I am just giving a summary point here for you. Then what are the negative impacts of the subsidy? So it lead to market distortion by unnecessarily raising and decreasing the prices, budgetary strain, fiscal issues are there, which is related to again the huge burden on the fiscal, huge burden on the exchequer happens. Then dependency, people are too much dependence on the subsidy, and they should not go, and they do not feel that we should do innovation or certain kind of thing. So this subsidy also make people dependent. The subsidy disincentivize the innovation, because if person is doing innovation, he or she do not go for innovation because he or she is already getting money somewhere. Okay, and then efficiency improvement and self sustainability, it also has to be maintained in such a way that, okay, so efficiency improvement because has to be done, but it has been seen that at some places there is no proper efficiency movement. And self sustainability, because they are dependent on the subsidy, so this self sustainability also goes down. So what is the policy recommendation? Focus has to be on the targeted approach, it should not be open-ended. Transparency has to be maintained at all level, whether national level, whether at the international level. Gradual phasing out, so that people should become market oriented, and they should be fighting in the market rather than on the government support. And every time there should be proper evaluation and adjustment has to be happen in order to find out like what is the market situation going on and how we are going to focus on that. Okay, so this is all the way in which we can also monitor like how we can help in our farm subsidies market, and how we can properly correlate with the MSP support price. Okay, so thank you so much. I hope all of you have enjoyed the session. I will be coming with the next section. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care.